can shape them so it looks like that. But they also can make any number of different appearances, so it could be square for that matter. Now you go down to the lower left corner and you see an L-shaped object. You have an EMV projecting only to the right, and so you get an L shape. And as a matter of fact, I've seen an account of an L shape, and that's how you do it. You could have the projection on the other side, so it looks different. Okay, and so on the right lower hand corner, you have a lenticular cloud-like formation, and you have the EMV in it. That's a typical kind of thing that they can pull. And you see a lenticular cloud, quite possibly there's an EMV in there. So you can see that they have qualities that make them candidates for making UFOs. But we've got to get into the mode of IFOs, where we've identified things, and this begins to bring things to closure and understanding. So the EMV is a long cylindrical object now. It's electromagnetic in character, and we should be referring to that as an IFO. Now they have stuff that they give off, and we should begin now to label the stuff they give off, and we'd only know if we can find the EMV at the time and begin to piece all of this stuff together. It'd be a fascinating thing to find all the capabilities. Here is a cover that of a report that was put out by the UNESCO under the auspices of the National Da Vinci in Rome. The reason why I show that is that I was at Rome where they put on a congress, and they wanted to have something on the nature of impact of science on culture, and that's the charter of UNESCO. So I chose the idea that weather was a common thing, and I had already decided that our weather could be messed up with the presence of these things because of these plasma streamers and so forth. And I showed the pictures essentially that I've showed you and said, well, now weather is not going to be what it used to be. And that certainly has been the case. This was 1987, and I'm very proud that what I said there has come true. So there is a lot of truth in this, in as much as I've seen this happen over a period of quite a few years now. And so I want to tie those things together. Now, I've been warned about bringing up global warming debate heats up and record artists. Well, the thought here is that this is the way things are going to go with EMVs being present. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here with regard to environment or anything like that, but all I'm trying to say in putting the pieces of this puzzle together, we have a new variable that's not being considered. And the variable is these EMVs. And they have prodigious energy, as I showed you from that one luminous source that's larger than the diameter of our moon. And so it could also cause the ice to melt and so forth. So that's the only kind of thing that I wanted to get across on that. Now we're going to go to Apollo 12, and Pete Conrad was the chief domo in that flight, and Gordon stuck with the orbiting spacecraft, and Lee went along with Gordon. Okay, this is supposed to be Pete. No, it's supposed to be Bean out there on what I've labeled item 1. And the item 2 is a solar wind collector that is supposed to be there. solar wind collector has a little flag-like kind of thing that you don't see in this view, but so that the cosmic particles can hit it. Okay, so this is advertised on the net by Eric Jones, who is the author of the article. Well, there's Bean out there, and he looks like he's taking a picture of us. That little white spot looks like a camera to him, and it does look like an astronaut. It looks like there's legs here, and but let's go take a closer look at that. Well, he's moved here in this the same kind of thing. It looks like he's turned around, and maybe he's going to shoot a picture over to the left. Now we'll take a picture of there. That's the first one. You see, it's not an astronaut at all. It's some sort of a body. Item 1 points to a body kind of thing, and the only thing that made you think that it was an astronaut was all this shading with light here. And there's the little camera blurb that now they thought, well, he's taking a camera. But when you look up close at the leg, hey, this is not an astronaut dress suit at all. It's some sort of object. Okay, here is the second view. And I don't know whether the light could contrast this arm out here or not, but there is an arm out here, and it looks like a head sort of thing. And it's only this lighting effect that makes you believe from a distance that there is an astronaut out there. But that is not an astronaut. That is not Bean. No way. The fact that there is an arm out this way makes the thing look biotically like a robot. I don't know what. Okay. Now, this is supposed to be Pete Conrad. You know, the commanding officer always puts up the flag, and so the thought of Greg Jones was, and of course, that is Pete Conrad there. He's fixing the flag like all commanders do when they land on Apollo. Now, I've drawn in 2 arrows that are split. I just labeled them 1, because I want to focus your attention to the area between those 2 arrowheads. And what I'm going to do is to present the next picture where you can tell where the tip of the flag is, and then we work down lower from there, just to keep you with the picture. No, that is not that's not the right picture. We're going all the way down. The one that I told you was there, it was changed color to the point of it not being recognizable. This is on Pete, so-called Pete, abdomen on the left side. And arrow 1 points to an edge of sort of a crater-like object in that dark area. That dark area 2 is, well, first the 2 is a protrusion out of the dark area, which is sort of like a cavity. And then the 3 points to some material that goes down to the ground or the surface of the moon. And so this growth that you see here is a huge thing. It goes to the moon. You can see how it goes up north up here. If that's Pete, he didn't live. But we know that he came back. And so, again, we have a situation where we thought we saw an astronaut, but it was not an astronaut. It was something else. Okay, and then we go to the lunar modules on the moon, and I'm going to show you 3 of these. Now the get times, I don't know where you can read them. I can't read them from here. But anyway, there's a question about whether the pictures are in the right order for the progressing get times. Get means a ground elapsed time. That is, since they blasted off, that's how many hours, minutes and seconds that they have been away from the ground. Okay, now you see the limb on the horizon, and it sort of looks like the limb. And 3 points it out again, but in the foreground, down here low is the color calibrator for color processing the pictures, and it's called the NOMI. And then there's the mobile transporter, which is sort of like a wheelbarrow on this flight, on this mission to carry stuff around. It was a sort of an awkward thing. But anyway, our interest is out there on the horizon. And here's another shot out there on the horizon. And item 2, again, is the color calibrator, the NOMI. Now, they've cut off the top part of this. If they could lower that picture, it's way off. Because what I want to show you is, no, it's going the wrong way. There we go. Okay, this is the lander on Apollo 11. And what I wanted you to notice is that this octagon shape lies a long way above the ground. Okay? And then we're going to compare that visual memory with this. Now, this is the first picture I showed you out there in the horizon for the limb. We do see an octagon shape here, so that should be that shape that I showed you on Apollo 11. But there's some other growth around here, there's growth under here, and here's something out here that is strange, is oddball formation. But that does purport to be the limb. Okay, matters get worse here. Now this one, I think, should be the last one to correspond to the last get time. But this one is fully developed. And you see now, this octagon shape touches the ground. It's not high up like the octagon shape for Apollo 11. And maybe you'd have some sort of a cross